Hi everyone, we are back with another episode jam-packed with information. Today, me and Jason are going to talk about the 5 ways to start a business right and how to actually not start a business. Hi Jason, how are you doing?
What's up, Joy? I'm doing good. How about you?
I am doing good, thank you. We have both been burned with businesses in the past. Well, like the wrong and the right ways of actually starting a business. And we know what you should not be doing. And we want to help you guys to potentially avoid the mistakes that we've made, because it's not just a mistake. Like, it's all about failures and learning how to fail. And, failure is a good thing. But we're talking here losing money because of failures. And I mean, obviously we want to avoid that where we can. So, Jace, can you tell us something? Like, what is your biggest mistake that you did the first time you did a business? What was your biggest, the wrong way that you started? What was your biggest thing?
Well, first, I just want to add on to what you just said.
Yeah.
Starting out a business, it can be very intimidating. I mean, not only are you trying to figure out what business to get into, well, let's just assume we're doing an online business.
Yeah.
What we're going to be selling, what we're promoting. Who do we listen to? Who do we know to listen to or not? I mean, there's just so much information out there. Never mind the stuff that you're going to get online. You're going to get stuff from every avenue in your life, especially from the people that don't even know how to turn on a computer. Yes. So who do you listen? But some of these people may be like the most people that you respect the most in your life, your parents or whatever, people that you think, well, these are the more intelligent people that I know in my life. I value what they have to say. You have to be very careful. How do I diffuse what's right, what's wrong, what direction? Correct. So this is very important. And so back to your question, the biggest mistake that I ever made in starting online business or starting business in general, because my first business wasn't completely online, is chasing the cash and making that primary. Making money the first and only objective. Yeah. That is quick to lead you down some ugly paths, which is why we want to talk, and they will lead you down these 5 huge mistakes that we're going to talk about today. So that would be where I started off wrong. I think, well, of course, when maybe you've come to a point now, you've decided to start an online business because it hasn't worked for you in the brick and mortar business or wherever you were, and you're in a tight spot right now, and money might be the driving force, but this is not where your thinking should start for a successful business.
Yeah. I completely agree with you. And that's exactly the mistake that I made, is that I want to make money, see the quickest way to make money. And it was the biggest mistake I made, because yes, that is a drive for people when they start out, because it's like, normally, what is it? It's like, I either quit my job or I lost my job and I need to figure out how to make money because there's no other companies that I can apply for or for work or whatever it is, right? There's always something. That money is the driving factor. But if you apply, like we say, we're going to talk about 5 things today that is the wrong things, basically, that you should not be doing starting a business. And if you just change your mindset a little bit about this, you will understand and realize that there is a right way to do something. And yes, you will still earn money, but the money is going to come automatically because you've just done it the right way. So let's talk about this, Jess, because I think this is something that really struggles. And I mean, I know people that are really struggling to start an online business, because I literally, guys, I'm not even joking, they are not even on Facebook. Like, they don't know anything online or tech because they've just never been in that space. But it's incredible that there's a range of people out there that really want to start a business, and they have no clue, because everything out there is so overwhelming. There's just so much information out there. And what do you do if you have no clue, right? So number 1 is basically being interested in the product. What's your feel on that, Jace? Like, if you're not interested in a product, what do you think will happen?
Listen, if you're not remotely interested in what you plan on selling or promoting, you're not going to care.
No.
You know, I'm not interested in salt shakers. And there are hundreds of different kinds, the kinds of salt that they dispense, how they dispense the salt, the types of salt that you use on different meats. Is it Himalayan salt? Is it pink salt? Is it salt with 64 of the major vitamins? Or is it the salt with the 8? Is it NaCl, sodium chloride, which is just table salt, which is garbage? I mean, and I don't love anything about salt, and I'll just wrap that off to you. If you don't have an interest in the slightest about what the hell you're going to sell, number one, you're not going to want to learn about it because you just don't care. I don't care what avenue the information is coming in, whether it's a magazine or online or whatever it is, you just don't give a shit. I don't care about salt. I mean, I love to cook, so I do care about salt in some ways, but definitely not enough to sell it. So number one, you're not going to be interested in learning about the product. And number two, if you actually have to make a video or get in front of somebody to sell them a product that you don't like, it's going to come out. People buy you first. I mean,
I'm laughing so much because I can just imagine Jason sitting there trying to sell salt shakers, because it's just not going to happen. I have this thing when I teach my students, it's like, if you're a man, you're not going to sell ballet dresses. I know this is a weird analogy, but just you know, it's like, if you're not going to sell ballet dresses if you're not interested in ballet. You're going to, if you like love camping or you love fishing, or sell things related to what you love. You know, even if you don't have a passion, it's okay to not have a passion, you know, but at least you sell that interested product. I mean, me and Jason started off selling a mutual product, and we both love the product. But this is the other side of it. Even though we love the product, we don't make money selling it because we just don't sell it, which is the ironic part, right?
We put out so much information on this shit. It's amazing.
We have a Facebook page of like hundreds of posts, like literally. And this is like a failure in itself, because we put Facebook ads into this Facebook page and just like teaching people about, you know, this product. And are we making any money? No, we are not.
And looking at the numbers at the end of the month,
it's like,
how many posts? 500. How many we sell?
Nothing.
I have none. Do you?
No, nothing. But this is the thing, and yes, we had some inquiries, but this is the thing, even though we like the product, you know, it's like a thing 100%. That we both enjoy, it's not something that we're really interested in. It's like you said, like, I like salt, I cook it with salt, but I'm not interested in salt. There's a difference, guys. So, I mean, if you love to fish, but you're not really interested in fishing, then it's not the same thing.
I don't want to buy a lure from you.
And that's the thing.
You know what I'm saying? It's hugely important, and it sounds funny, but you know, when you're promoting something that you like or are remotely interested in, when education about that product comes your way, you will naturally want to listen.
Exactly.
To take in that information. You know, if it's something that you're not interested in, you're going to let that go in one and out the other. So when you're choosing this product, if you haven't already, make sure it's something that you can get into and get behind and speak intelligently about. For God's sake, if I'm talking to you about salt, let me know that you've had some in your life. You know what I mean? It's important.
And
go ahead.
And it's true. Like I said to Jason before we started actually recording this episode, I had somebody that approached me on driving organic traffic to my Facebook because he's selling this. But I'm looking at his Facebook profile and he's got like 2 or 3 people liking his posts. And I'm like, dude, how can you teach me to drive traffic if your traffic sucks? And I'm not knocking the guy. He's obviously just bought into this opportunity. And then I asked him, he goes like, I don't really care to drive traffic. And I'm like, well, then don't sell this product, because you can't sell something that you don't have an interest to do. I mean, like, it just doesn't make sense. You can't do it. And this is the thing. So just be interested in a product, you know, even if it, and like I said, we had a mutual product. We sold this product and we didn't make money selling this product because we weren't interested in it. And it's a great product. We both have it. We both love it. We both use it every single day. But are we interested in it as like a thing?
We promised ourselves once we hit X amount of sales, we would go on an amazing vacation with our families. Guess where we never went?
on vacation. Right? So I guess, hey, Jazz, that's a failure in itself, right? Think about this. We talked about failures before. That's a failure, but we can laugh about it because we actually appreciate and understand where it comes from, you know?
Oh, so funny.
Okay.
But true, but true.
It's very true. Also, remind you guys, please subscribe to the channel if you like our videos. Number 2 is what we have is decide where your weakness is in the process. So, you know, where is your struggles? You know, if you start an online business, think of where's your weakness. Is it technology? Is it product information? You know, whatever that weakness is, what is your weakness? So I've got a program which is called 4 Pillars, which is I've got a Facebook group and all of that stuff, which is teaching people how to be time management and teaching people funnels and marketing and traffic. So think of your weakness. You know, you might have a weakness in something completely different. You might have a weakness where you didn't even think it was a thing until you started an online business. What's your feel on this, Jace? On the weakness?
No, I agree. I mean, and for every one of these, it's fair to look at it as, you know, not only what are your weaknesses, but what are your strengths in though. I mean, if you're coming into an online business and you know quite a bit about a product, that doesn't mean that you know how to market it. It doesn't mean that you know how to keep a schedule about how to keep on to that marketing. And it doesn't mean that you know how to talk. It doesn't mean that you know how to talk to somebody else about it to get them interested. That's something completely different.
Exactly.
You might know a lot about salt. Do you know how to present to me all the facts about Himalayan pink salt to get me to buy an ounce of it? Or do you just know that it tastes good and it's good for me? There's a lot that goes into not only knowing about the product, but how to market the product, how to keep on a daily basis with growing this business. And so it's important to know where are your weaknesses in the business cycle revolving around this product.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, exactly. And I mean, I coach students, and I've got quite a few students that they really suck with messaging people and getting themselves out there and having that persuasion. And it's
this is how Joy talks about you.
No, but it's like a real thing. I know, but the reality is, I was the same. Yeah, I know, it's like funny, right? But I was the same, you know, before I did okay, I had sales before, but like before I had my sales thing, I didn't want to speak to people about anything. Like my product knowledge was off the charts. I knew so much about it, but it's like, ooh, how do I actually approach this person to talk about all my product knowledge, you know? And this is the thing, there's so many different components in actually selling a product. And people think it's like, oh, I'm going to start an online game, and I'm going to make my first $1 million, and when am I going to buy my island? But the reality is it's not that simple. And yes, for some people it is. I mean, I know people that started and within like the first month they're making 100K. But if you look at it, reality is that they know how to do it because they actually have no weaknesses as in how to sell it. They know how to have time management. They know how to be focused. They know how to set goals. They know marketing. They know how to market themselves. They know how sales, you know, they know how to sell to people without them even, maybe they didn't even knew that they know how to sell to people. They have the right, you know, the system in place. Maybe they bought into a program where they have the right system in place, like a funnel or a really good website. They now understand how to drive traffic. These are all very important things to actually helping you in this whole process that, you know, to actually be successful in this game.
And at the same time, you might be coming from a brick and mortar business, and now you're getting into the online thing. You might have more knowledge than you know about how to sell or market a product. You might be missing just one piece that's making everything go down the drain.
Yep.
And the connection between you and that one piece might be a coach to just point it out to you.
Correct.
And so getting everything out about what you know and what you don't know about that product is equally important about how do I make others feel the way I feel or want them to feel about this product.
Yeah. And that actually ties in with number 3 that Jason is saying, is like, how do I actually get help with this weakness? So now you've identified the weakness. Okay. So you've identified maybe your issues, I don't know, marketing, right? Now you've identified that you know most of the things, but how do you actually then do the next step? So identifying your weakness, Jace, what is the best way that you can actually then help yourself once you've identified the weakness? You know, like how do you help, you know, how do you get help on this?
So you might need some help getting to the point where you can identify that weakness.
Yep.
And we can go over how to figure that out. I mean, you and I are both people that we base our businesses on getting people these types of information for not the amount of money that you will see out there people charging, and we'll get into that, but that's just who we are as people, and that's how we base our business. And so it is going to be crucial that you start to speak to people or get into groups that are either semi-likeness or talking about the same things that this product is, asking questions, reading, taking it all in, which goes back to have some kind of interest, because the information that you're going to take in, it's going to sink in, and it's going to help you realize, with some help, where you're missing piece, if you will.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I mean, you get things like paid, you know, like coaching things. And this is kind of like where the next one also comes, like educating yourself about the product. You know, it's not necessarily time efficient. You need a coach for that. But also just diving into that, like, for example, I am part of 2 paid Facebook groups, and it is fantastic. You know, like it's really good because it's kind of secluded or exclusive. How do you, like, exclusive is the right word here? Sometimes my English, exclusive to be in these groups, right? But I've also been part of paid programs where it was useless, you know. So you really need to understand, like, if I pay $50 a month to be part of this group, am I getting the value that promise? Because you can get that, or you can be part of a $40 coaching a month program, which basically teaches you nothing, or you can be part of $1,000 or $5,000 a month program, which also again teaches you nothing. And I mean, like I said, I'm part of 2, and I mean, in total, these 2 Facebook groups a month cost me like $70, which is nothing. And I learned so much from them every single day, because the people actually pump you full of value, right? So I guess you need to understand and realize that when you educate yourself, what is the value? If you can't afford like a full-on one-on-one coach, which is expensive, right? Because you pay per the hour or you pay per month, whatever. Is it then worth it for you to go into a group coaching on that topic that you're not sure about, you know? And I personally found that both works. Like, I mean, I've got a coach and I've got my group coaching, and what my coach lack in, you know, the things that I'm needing, I'm finding it, you know, somewhere else, you know, because generally your coach is on a specific field. But if your business have different, I would say, almost pillars to it, then it's better to get education from somebody else. You know, it just makes sense that way.
Now, I come from a little bit of a different position, so you're going to get a little bit 2 different perspectives here. When I was life coaching in another area before I started doing what I'm doing now, the price would be, and mind you, that none of this was online. It was always one-on-one. Was thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for 3 months. The information, 100% worth it, will change your life.
Yes.
But not everybody has that money, especially when you're starting out.
That's the thing.
So my new business model is to provide that information for people
without costing
at a much lower rate, because that's what I feel is right.
Yes.
And I know in the end, I will be compensated tenfold for the information I'm getting. So it's finding the right people to provide that information. That is critical. There's a lot of shit out there.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with Jason. And this is the thing, like, I'm not knocking, please make sure that you understand it. I'm not knocking a $10,000 a month program. I'm not doing that at all, because there's a lot of value. I've seen a lot of value in programs like this, but you just be careful, you know, be careful of when you actually pay $5,000 versus a $97 a month program, you know, like, because they can be the same exact value, you know, and it depends person to person to person, coach to coach to coach, program to program to program. It depends on what you buy into. And again, it boils down to like, you know, the number one and the number two, the weakness and the progress, or sorry, not the progress, the product, you know, the interest in the product.
So right here, right now, I mean, before we even move on, you have two very different perspectives of what you want to know as you're looking out. I was on a ridiculously high end.
Yes.
Did very well. I recognize what is wrong with that.
Yes.
She is providing information that is, you would pay that money, but decided that that wasn't the way for her to go with the information that she's giving.
Because
so you're getting the best of both worlds, right? I mean, you see when we have our videos, it's no rocket ship, Jason and Joy coming at you for another $5,000. I mean, it's just not necessary. The purpose of this is to give you honest, simple information from two very different, we come from two very different worlds. That's but right. We met on a same plane where most of you will find yourself when you start out. And so it's a very unique area that we both meet on and can provide information for you both, which is why we do what we do here.
Exactly.
Back to you, Joy.
And the thing with, and exactly what Jason's saying is, because the thing is with us is like, and this is what I appreciate about him being my business partner, because we think the same. We have the same belief in things. And the number one thing that like really connects us on this level is that we both believe that knowledge, and like, I mean, what Jason is doing is like fixing your mind, right? If you've got issues, but obviously there's more to it than that, but that's the concept. But we want to charge as cheap as possible without it. I mean, the reality is we're all in it to make money, but our number one goal is to serve people first before getting a big amount of money. That's the number one thing. We want to see people succeed and have success, and then money is a byproduct of that. You know, and this is the thing, but realistically speaking, we have to pay the bills, but we don't care to make $1 million. Yes, it will be nice eventually, sure, whatever, but it's not our goal. Our goal is to serve and help people and charge them $97 for something instead of $5,000 or $10,000, because we just don't believe in that business module. And that's just what makes us, I guess, different, right?
Yeah, that's right. But when we both started out, essentially, it wasn't all like this and online and
wasn't.
So now we have the ability to present a product to a large amount of people without having to take up all of our time, because things start getting really expensive and people start getting really, really greedy when their greatest asset starts to be used up. Now, what's our greatest asset as a human? It's our time. We only have so much. That's when it starts to get expensive. But now, you find a way to deliver your product to the masses, and you're coming from a good spot.
Correct.
This is where you're going to see. This is where you're going to see returns, and it's going to make you feel good. So that's what we're doing here.
Yes, exactly that. And that is basically then, you know, number 4. I don't know if we actually mentioned number 4, but what we just talked about is number 4, you know, it's like educating yourself about the product and being time efficient about it. You know, if it means getting into a group coaching and you're going to save 10 hours a week trying to figure this stuff out on your own, do it. If you feel like if you have the money in your bank account to pay a one-on-one coach that is the right coach for you, then do it. You know, it all works. But what we're saying is just be careful, you know, just be careful with what you do. And that brings us to number 5, which is talking about fake gurus. Guys, there are fake gurus out there and they charge you thousands of dollars for things that is just doesn't exist. You know, oh, you point the finger back at you, funny bunny.
I love you. The serious topic.
But it is, because, I mean, do yourself a favor, guys, and I just told Jason this before I started recording this episode. Go onto YouTube and on YouTube search fake gurus exposed. There are so many of them. And it is a thing. And I mean, maybe some of the people that they expose isn't really fake gurus. I don't know. But what I have seen is that most of them are fake gurus because they charge people. Okay, so what is the difference between a fake guru and a real guru?
I was just going to say, let's talk a little bit about how you spot a fake guru.
Exactly.
And I love it.
And a fake guru is really just charging you thousands of dollars. Like I'm talking anything between $1,000 and $5,000 per month for something, which is like, yeah, sure, you can pay that, but the fake guru doesn't actually tell you that you're going to have results. And, you know, if you have results, they kind of have this weird way of wording it, that it's not really their fault that you're not getting results. It's your own fault because you're not putting in the time and the effort and all of that stuff. And that is the problem with the fake guru, because they make you feel like you are the person that did this wrong, and it's not their program. But this is the thing, you don't see the results, you don't see your money back, you don't actually make money.
Nope. You want to listen to, I don't need to cut you off.
No, I'm done. You go.
Oh, okay. So, fake guru. So, when you're listening to somebody and you're searching online, who do I learn about such and such with, or what have you?
Yeah.
A person that knows what they're doing will tell you exactly what you're going to receive, where you are before the program, and what you're going to get afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I mean by that is, like, for example, coaching. I'm a mindset coach. And so you can get caught up pretty heavily. There's a bunch of people out there that have paid for a 3-month life coaching course. And now I'm certified by life coaches of the universe, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I'm going to just make you smile. That's amazing. For 10 grand?
No.
No. Where are you now versus where are you going to be once you've bought this course? Even if it's $100, where am I going to be once I've done all the modules or the learning, or I've absorbed all the education?
Do you see results? I mean? This is the thing.
What are the results? What can I expect?
Mm-hmm.
If I don't get these results, is there any reimbursement?
Mm.
This is big.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's every person that you see and then you hear these are not typical results, well, that might be so, but what if my results aren't at least what you say I'm going to have at the end?
Correct.
If you're not going to get your money back in some sort of way, shape, or form in any capacity, get out of there.
Exactly.
Get out of there. The other thing is, you can talk to people who know about what's going on in the business, and you'll start to learn who these people are as you talk, get into your niche group chats and things like this. You'll find people like Joy and I, who've been around
groups.
for a little bit.
Exactly.
You can come to and say, this is what I got.
Yeah.
This is what they're offering. What do you think? And then we will be able to tell you, because we've been around it and we're around it every single day.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So you have to be very careful about what people are offering you. $12,000, I'm going to make you smile in 4 weeks.
No. That's not.
No.
That's not worth it.
And it's, you know, it's a little bit harder for me with coaching as far as mindset.
Mm.
But with somebody like Joy, she's very, very specific on what you're going to get from when you start to where you end up. This is huge.
And
right?
it's the same with you. Yeah, exactly. So when people start with me with their coaching, it's like, well, you're going to go from having 0 sales to potentially having a sale. And I'm saying potentially because it depends on how they actually put it in. But I've had 100% success rate with people when they complete my coaching that they actually do have a sale. And I've got students where, I should probably not say this out loud on a YouTube video, but I have given them an extra coaching session for free just because it was that one coaching session that made the difference between them not having a sale because they learn a bit slower or they didn't quite understand the process, or it's nothing to do with them, but it's about the product that they're selling and it's a little bit more trickier to market it, you know. So and I mean, that happens to me every other day with my coaching, and I recognize that. And if I can't help somebody in 3 sessions to do a sale, then I don't feel right about that, because my goal is, again, like we talked about, to serve people and see them having success. And I would rather spend an extra hour of my time helping them to get that sale, because Jason, you know, once you've made your first sale online, that's all you need. And then you're like, oh, now I can just repeat that process and just make more and more sales, right? And that's the thing. Like, once I have that satisfaction of giving them their first sale, that's it. Like I would say, Bob's your uncle, and Jason didn't like that, or doesn't understand.
I love that.
but that's the thing, in South Africa, it's like Bob's your uncle, and that's the thing, and you're on your way, because then you just repeat the process. But getting that
Also,
style is hard.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Also, something that is hugely important, at least with Joy and I in our respective businesses, is that, and I'll only speak for me, but I know, because I know what Joy does and how she does it. I want to make sure that once we've spoken and you've gotten everything that you've learned, you don't need to come back. There isn't a need for you to need me on a weekly basis for another $1,000. Be careful of that. That's not the same as we will have a once a month check-in or audit for a specific cost or whatever. That's different from at the end of every session that we meet, or at the end of all the information that you get, you need me time and time and time again. That's garbage. For me, I'm going to give you everything that I have so that, one, you don't need me anymore, and two, you'll be on your way to help somebody else.
Yeah.
That is a business model that you're not going to see ever. So just be wary of that. Be cognizant of it, because that is somebody that actually cares about how you're doing in business and your future, and not about their own.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Yes, and I agree with Jace with like a big part of it, but also it is good to have a coach. Like, I'm speaking with somebody that have a coach. It is good to have that somebody that you pay X amount of dollars for a month that you can just
that's why I said it's not. I didn't say it wasn't wrong to have somebody to check in with once a month or something like that.
I agree. Yes. And that is what you said. But it's also just be mindful, because it depends on the field that you're in too. This is the thing. It depends on the field and also the person. Like, you might have somebody that's very needy and they need your help because that's just the way they're wired. They want to have somebody on standby to ask questions for. And that's okay if that's them and they're willing to pay for that on standby thing, then that's fine. But it is good if you can if you can buy into a program that gives you everything you need, and you just maybe pay. Like, I have a Facebook, like I said, paid Facebook group. I have the program, but then you just pay to ask questions, really, which is great, because you don't have to go to YouTube to go and figure things out, right? Again, it's saving the time thing. Yeah, so
that's just like for me, I do the mindset coaching, but I also have clients that I do their website work for them and help them with their wording on their websites to help bring in more clients. And if somebody pays me, $300 a month or $250 a month to always make sure that their website and the language is always there, so they can call me at any time and say, I need to present this to the public. This is what I'm trying to get across. There might be very specific language there that I'm a master in, or I know about, and to pay $200 or $300 a month to have me be able to make those changes for you to bring in sales, that's well worth it. Again, and if you're not sure if it's worth it or not, or prices, find people like Joy and I that are honest and that will say to you, that's worth it, or stay away from that. You know what I mean?
And it's about serving people. And I mean, we're just saying to us because we're on this, but I mean, find anybody else. We're not saying come to us, right? But it's like, this is guaranteed. If you find somebody that is there to serve the people and not serve their pockets, you'll be fine.
I couldn't have said that any better.
Yeah. And that's the difference between a guru and somebody that just genuinely wants to help you,
Guru, it's funny, people call themselves guru, or people say this one's a guru. Guru means going from dark to light. That's what guru means.
Yeah.
If you're not talking to somebody who's trying to bring you from a dark place, and I don't mean like you have to be dark, but from a place of less to a place of more, from a place of fear to a place of love, if that's not their primary focus, that is not a guru.
Exactly. That's the thing. Well, I think that covers all of them. So I'm just going to quickly recap the 5. So number 1 is make sure that you're interested in a product or a service or something that you're going to sell. You know, if you're passionate about it, great, but passion is a strong word. You're not always passionate about something, but at least have an interest. Okay. Number 2 is decide where your weakness is. Okay, if it's going to be marketing or product knowledge or, you know, whatever your weakness is. And then number 3 is, how do I get help for that weakness? Do I get a coach? Do I go to a Facebook group? Whatever that is. 4 is educating yourself on the product, but also do it in a time efficient way, you know. And then number 5 is basically a guru. What is a guru? And you know, do I buy into a guru program, or, you know, who do I really listen to? That's really number 5, is, you know, who is the person that's going to help me on this journey.
Also, and I just want to say, maybe you don't know what it means to, you know, maybe you've watched this, and please, if you've watched this and you're interested, watch our last episode, because a lot of the stuff, it all intertwines. It's all connected.
And subscribe.
Maybe you're thinking to yourself, well, what does it mean to have a coach? What does that look like in my daily life or weekly life or monthly life? Like, what is this person to me, and how does this fit in my life? Especially if I have kids or I'm doing different things, like, how does this incorporate into my daily being?
Exactly that.
Reach out to us. We'll tell you exactly what that looks like. Exactly. A lot of it can be based around you and what you do.
Yep.
And how your schedule is, but it also is based upon what our schedule is. I mean, this is we meet in the middle here. You know what I mean? This is not so. So ask us questions about what that looks like.
And we've got Facebook groups, you know, so if our personal time is not in there, we've got a Facebook group. And I mean, we each have our own Facebook groups, and just, you know, join the Facebook group, pop questions in there, and you will get answered. And at least you'll get a straightforward, honest answer.
Every time. And
not some dodgy, weird, like, oh, we're going to sell you this. Oh, wait, I can't answer you, but you buy my $500 or $1,000 program and then I'll answer your question. That's dodgy ass. You don't need to do that. So.
True.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Jason. That was, like, I think quite informative episode, I would say.
No, thank you, Joy. And what I love about these episodes that we do is that, and I said it in our previous episode, is, you know, Joy and I come into these recordings with an idea of what we're going to talk about, but largely what you hear, and I'm sure you can tell, it comes straight from who we are as people, and who we are as people directly reflects on who we are as business people, and I'm sure you can see that. So that's very important to us.
Yeah, and we're always there to help. And if you have any questions, and, you know, like I said, we're always there to lend a helping hand. And me and Jason are both working on coaching programs. It's going to be so dirt cheap. So we're going to bring something out in the next, I would say, 2 or 3 months or so. And it's seriously, it's going to be dirt cheap. You know, it's not going to be your next $1,000 or $5,000 program. And it's because we want to do this purely because we want to help you and we want to see you succeed. So watch the space on that, but we will obviously announce it when it's close to being finished. But yeah, so he's just going to be all about the mindset stuff. I'm going to help you to set up a business, and eventually I'm sure, Jason, me and you will meet in the middle somewhere on that.
So.
Yeah, we will. All right. This is awesome. Please subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe, and we appreciate you. Yeah.
Everybody be safe. Great to see you guys. Please check out our previous episodes. They've all been well received so far, and we'd love to see you there. Reach out to us at any time for any questions, comments, concerns, gripes, whatever you got, we're ready.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Thanks, Jazz. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Joy.